Hey traders, it's John Fortune here with this week's Weekly Forex Forecast for the 21st of May to the 25th of May 2018. As always, we're going to start by looking at the US dollar index and oil before running through a number of markets, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the process, and also highlighting some of the targets that we're going to be looking at for the coming week and also weeks ahead. So I hope you're all enjoying your weekend. Let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. Starting with the US dollar index. Now, last week we actually came up and took out the target set from last week at the 93.65, which is roughly in this area here. And in fact, you can see we closed week at 93.66. And we are now sitting above this key area of broken resistance turning support at the 93.39. So you can see we've already had a little pullback. We had a test over here and we've pulled back. As we start the week above this broken key area of broken resistance turning support, we are looking for further advances next week in the US dollar index as long as we stay above this level, and we are looking up towards the next target to the upside and target 2 set from last week at the 94.22. and if we can get a breakthrough here, we're looking up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside at the 95.15. Next, we have crude oil. Now, last week we started the week in this area and we were looking for long positions as we started the week above the broken area of resistance. You can see it turned support here on the Iranian speech given by Donald Trump, and it spiked to the upside and it started to flag. And we've been looking for longs in oil as we're above this key area of broken resistance 69.68. Any pullback in this area, especially if we can get a pull back all the way to broken resistance turning support once again, this is going to provide a great opportunity to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And if we get those kind of patterns in oil, we're going to be looking for further advances to the upside, and we're going to be looking at initiating long positions, first of all up to the target and the next key area of resistance to the upside at 73.32. and if we can get a breakthrough here, which may take a couple of weeks, if it does come up into this area, we're going to be looking up to the next key area of resistance and target 2 to the upside at the 75.00. Next, we have euro dollar. Now, last week we actually started to make our way down towards the target set from last week at 1.17227. And going into this week, you can see we start the week below key area of broken support turning resistance, potentially at the 1.18355. So if we get a pullback into this area, preferably a retest of broken support turning resistance, this will be a great place to again look to initiate short positions in the euro dollar. And we're going to be looking for bearish formations and patterns to initiate shorts down towards the first target here set from last week at the 1.17227. And if we get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2 at the 1.16164. Next, we have pound dollar. Now, last week we started the week up in this area and we were looking for short positions in the pound dollar. And we go into this week below broken support, looking to turn resistance. And so, very simply put, starting this week, this is a great place to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And if we get the right kind of bearish formations and patterns in this area, this is where we're going to start to look to initiate short positions once again in the pound dollar. First of all, down to the target set from last week and the key area of support at the 1.3401. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2 at the 1.3272. Next, we have US dollar yen. Now, last week we took out the target to the upside set at the 110.356, and we're starting to make our way up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside. So very simply put, as we go into this week above broken resistance turning support at the 110.034, if we can get a pullback into this area, preferably a retest of broken resistance turning support, as I said, this will be a great place to start to look once again for bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the target 2 set from last week and the next key area of resistance to the upside at the 111.427. Next, we have Aussie dollar. Now, last week we started the week right here at broken support turning resistance, and we were looking to initiate short positions in the Aussie dollar. And in fact, we did decline in the Aussie dollar, and then we pulled back and we retested broken support turning resistance once again. So we didn't really go very far. We didn't really go anywhere last week in the Aussie dollar. However, starting this week, we are still below key area of broken support turning resistance at 0.75354. So this is a great place, and we will start once again to look for bearish formations and patterns. And we're looking at initiating shorts in the Aussie dollar next week as long as we stay below this key area of resistance and this resistance area holds. We're looking to initiate shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target set at 0.73333. Next, we have New Zealand dollar. Now, last week we came down, took out the target set at 0.68643, which is about here, and you can see we bounced, and we currently sit right at broken support turning resistance at the 0.69061. Now, as we start the week below just this key area of broken support turning resistance, we're looking for further declines in New Zealand dollar next week. And this is a great place to start to look for bearish patterns and formations in this area. And if we get these right kind of bearish formations and patterns here, we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next target and next key area of support to the downside at 0.68180. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2, set at the 0.67792. Next, we have the US dollar franc. Now, last week we were looking for further advances in the US dollar franc after potentially a little bit of a pullback, and we have had a pullback, and you currently see we go into this week starting at broken resistance turning support at the 0.99572. And this is a great place now as we go into next week, where we're going to start to be looking for bullish formations and patterns, especially if we get the continuation to the upside in the US dollar index, as we discussed first of all. And if we get the right kind of bullish formations and patterns in this area, this is a great opportunity to start to look for long positions. And we're looking up towards the next key area of resistance and the target set from last week at the 1.00988. Next, we have US dollar CAD. Now, last week we started the week down in this area, and I said to you guys we were looking up towards this target, and this was potentially the top of a range, and we had the risk of going into a bit of a range here as price starts to bounce between these levels. And you can see that's exactly what we did. We did start to bounce between these levels. So very simply put, I've left this on here because this is the top of the range. Going into this week, we actually start the week below this key area of broken support and resistance, the top of the range here. So we would really, and for those of you who like to play ranges, there is an opportunity to the downside again like this and potentially back up. However, with the US dollar index breaking to the upside, the opportunity that we're really going to be looking for, the bigger opportunity next week, is on a break out of the range. Okay, whether that happens straight away or it bounces a few times first. And if we get a break above the top of the range here, we're going to be looking for, this is going to be a great place to start to look for bullish formations and patterns. And if we get those patterns in this area after a breakout to the upside, we're going to be looking all the way up to the target and the key area of resistance to the upside of the 1.31119. So there may be some more range playing here for those of you who are proficient enough to do that. However, the bigger move that we're looking for, especially with further dollar strength, if we get it next week, is this breakout to the upside. And finally, we have gold. Now, last week we actually started the week up in this area, and because we started the week above the key area of broken resistance that we had last week, we were looking for further advances in gold to the upside. And you can see we started to pull back down to broken resistance, turning support, but as we started to come down, we came down pretty hard, and there were no formations or patterns in this area. And in fact, this smashed straight through to the downside. And as it came through to the downside, it started to lose a little bit of steam towards the end of last week. So very simply put, in gold, as we start the week below broken support at the 1304.25, we're going to be looking for a pullback somewhere in this area. Preferably, if we can get broken support turning resistance, that would be fantastic. And this is going to provide a great opportunity to start to look for bearish formations and patterns. And if we get the right kind of bearish formations and patterns in this area, we're going to be looking at initiating shorts in gold down towards the target and the next key of support to the downside at the 1334.88. So that is it from me for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. A huge thank you to all of you who do that on a regular basis, who comment as well, and those of you who have subscribed to the channel so far, so thank you. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you all have a very profitable trading week next week. Take care and don't forget to trade safely.